People, we stay in the Premier League. Check this out. What's going on, people? It's Mr. Door back again with the review show. People, we are staying in the Premier League. I can't believe I'm saying this. We are staying in the Premier League. How good is that?
It's better than a Premier Inn.
Premier.
They're quite nice. Don't bag on them.
It's better than saying it's good to stay in League One. It's good to stay in Championship, but we're not. We are staying in the Premier League.
Say
How
it
is
again.
it? It's good to stay in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's indeed.
Ah, I'm so excited, people. People in the comments, how are you feeling? We've got the panel in. We've got everyone in the chats going mad. It's emotional. I don't know what to say. I've got the panel
We're in
in.
the Premier League.
We're in the Premier League. Let's get the panel in. First of all, Dylan, how you feeling?
We're in the Premier League.
Oh, dude.
I was gonna do my old freeze bit, but then I thought no. I had to follow on from Ben, didn't I?
Next up, we've got the Welsh wizard. His Wi-Fi is in 1995. But Steve, how you feeling, Steve?
Like Dylan, we're Premier League, baby.
Oh, dude.
Premier
Next up, we've got the man, the legend. He can talk for the world. Dude.
Yeah, I'm good, Ben. You just have to excuse me, you three lads. I'm just removing Ipswich and Plymouth from my Google Maps.
Dude, I think I've got to remove that as well. People.
Don't forget. I've Leeds and Everton or Leicester on standby to remove.
Just remove people.
Yeah.
People in the comments, how are you feeling?
That's a bus driver talking there. That
people in the comments, how are you feeling? We are staying in the Premier League. I'll go through the comments before we talk about everything.
Ben,
hello.
I'm gonna enter my laptop, right?
Okay, that's fine.
All right,
fine. That's fine. Right,
He's going to get in his laptop.
I don't know.
Enter it apparently.
Yeah,
he must be feeling really happy.
Right, Paul, got Bert up the Forest. Paul, I hope your confidence is we will be doing this. So it's great. Just pleased to meet you all after the game. Paul, you're a legend. Actually, legend. Meet this guy all the time before the game. Absolutely legend. I'm sure you got a score prediction right as well, Paul. As well, 1-0. And shout out to Callum Smith as well. He got his score prediction yet again. Can't believe it. Got it. Crazy, Callum. Karen says, don't you feel nice to have Dave Blueberry on his best review show? And right now, come on, guys, let's listen and just watch and eat hot seat on DoreOnTour. Yes, it's always good to have Dave on. But as well, it's good to have anyone who comes on my channel as well. But yeah, it's good. It's very good. Lee says, Anakin always said he will replace the manager if he brings someone better. We'll keep people happy with that comment. Listen, we'll talk about that later on throughout the show. But right now, everyone's happy about staying in the Premier League. Liam says yes. Mark says, how you doing, Mark? Evening, Door and friends. Mohammed says, hopefully, Steve Cooper is not leaving Nottingham Forest after the win, for Forest to come up with a result as well. Markham says, I can't come on. I'm still excited from yesterday. Who isn't the Markham? I think everyone is. Martin says, even though, I hope you will, Martin. Christy Monkey said, "Evening lads, we're staying up. You Reds." I think bloody hell, everyone's happy. Who isn't? Good evening, Mr. Dylan, Steve. I hope you're well. I'm so happy you survived the allegation. And still believe my Steve Cooper yesterday was a fantastic day. Everyone's meeting Steve Cooper.
I haven't.
Oh, bless you. Oh, bless you. Oh, bless you. Bless you. But we have got a special guest happening on Tuesday, but I will sort that. I'll talk about that later on. Even Mr. Dore, Bannon Brothers, staying up in style, beating the league runners up in relatively easy. Thanks again for talks, man, fans, and coming rest. Shout out to Chris from America. And there's 119 people. Where are you watching this stream? I'd love to know because I know Chris is from America as well. There's more comments coming on. Paddy Harris, what a day, such a relief. Come on, you Reds. Mark, even everyone, even Dore, even all the panel, we are Premier League, baby. It's crazy. First time who gives a voice for staying up. Shout out to Cole for that as well.
Cracking song.
East Midlands, Eastwood, Garibaldi. Literally can't stop smiling. I can't stop smiling. As well, there's more comments as well. Manda, how you doing, Manda? And as well, good evening, everyone. Hope you called from yesterday. Come on, you Reds Premier League. As well, top of the link. As you know, Manda, she's got what's it called again? Defibrillator for football. If you want to win a Forest away top signed as well, it only costs £1 to win it. So please do link in the description at the top. Win it. It only costs £1 because you know Glenn, he won a Forest top, goalkeeper top as well. So if you want to win, please link in the description. It costs £1 to win it. And all the money that goes to the defibrillator to your local club. The comments are still coming, people. The comments are still going crazy, people. But yeah, right. Let's start. I'm gonna start with you, Dylan. Whew. How you feeling, dude? How are you feeling? People in the comments, how are you feeling?
Relieved. Do you know what I mean? I got to a point about probably a month ago where you're thinking, "Oh God, here we go." Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? We could see. It's not, it's Forest. There's always something always happens, something always crops up. But for some reason, it was just game by game, and it was like, okay, we're matching everyone around us up, doing better. Do you know what I mean? And it was like Everton beating Brighton 5-1 or whatever they beat them, and then we went to beat Southampton. So you're thinking, all right, let's go. Then we go down to Chelsea, we get a draw, and we're like. I mean, this week people were talking, saying, we'll do Arsenal, we'll beat Arsenal, and everything. And I was like, oh, do you know what I mean? Yeah, there is a chance. And obviously, to get that goal yesterday was just magic. And for the rest of the game, I was sat in my seat, and a friend of mine was sat next to me. And he was like, "Are you watching this game?" I was like, "I can't." I can't because I've got. It was like being at Wembley Stadium all over again. You know what I mean? I was like,
Yeah.
Something's gonna happen. I was like, it's gonna happen. And he was like, it's not gonna happen. And obviously it didn't. So yeah, I think we did what we had to do. I was talking to an Arsenal friend of mine today, and he says to me, "Congratulations" and everything. I said, "I'm not going to say to you, turn around and say we battered you. But defensively, we absolutely battered you. Even your money, even the Arteta's turned around and said, we could play for 3 hours, but we're never going to break them down."
Yeah.
And that just shows you. And obviously, Steve wasn't there, but the rest of us. But I have never, ever heard the City ground as loud as it has ever been. It was literally where I was sat. I was not far away from the away fans, and it was literally, and even them, they were trying to sing, but we were just overpowering them. And you could see in the end they were just all clapping. Do you know what I mean? Clapping and just saying what. And do you know what I mean? I think the team did what they needed to do. Yes, it wasn't pretty, and look at the stats and everything. Do you know what I mean? I think we had 60% possession, but like I always say, possession. You can have the ball all the time. Don't take chances. You know what I mean? One chance, one good chance, and we did it. So yeah, we're Premier League.
Next up, well, Steve, all the way in from Wales. How are you feeling, Steve?
Yeah, I think my Wi-Fi is still hungover from the game as well. Lagging it. Yeah, can't cope with it all. I had the wrong arm earlier. See that there? We Premier League, yeah. So Gary Neville, Carragher, Cundy, Jamie O'Hara, all you can lick that. We are Premier League.
I feel like, you know what? I feel like doing, I don't know if everyone wants to talk sport. I don't know if anyone wants to talk sport. You know what Jace Cundy does before talk sport starts? He does oh, you're watching. He does that. People come on. Do you know what I'm talking about? He does that little thing about, oh, you're listening to, or what team he talks about. He reels them off about a playoff from each club. So I feel like doing that. I might do that later on in the show.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, carry on, Steve. Carry on.
Yeah, just really proud us all. Really proud of the performance. We just met the occasion, and Arsenal just turned up. You could see they were feeling sorry for themselves from the Brighton game. You know, like Dylan just said, you can have as much ball as you want, but if you don't take your chances, like there's a team just down the road from me, Swansea, who praise themselves on possession football. Look where they are, mid-table in the Championship. You know, you can have as much ball as you want. If you don't take your chances, you know, we have to be careful. We can't just, like next season now, we can't just go through the season on 20% possession. We will have to get a bit better out of that. But that's not kind of team we are. We haven't been a possession-based team since maybe, I can't remember actually. We never have, you know, Lamucci, we were a counter-attacking side. Kranka, we were.
I'll say Billy Davis. Billy Davis,
maybe Mark Warburton, maybe as well.
Yeah.
You know, football, that brand of football. But at the moment, it's winning football matches, and you know, we beat Arsenal yesterday. And did Navas really get tested?
Nope.
No. And what played into our hands? Well, what Arsenal don't do is they don't go long. They just keep on to their principle, and they just try keep probing. Other teams were just lumped it up front, but they don't play that football, which suited us really. You know, they had no plan B, and once plan A didn't work, they just lost their ideas, didn't they? They had nothing. And Martinelli was a big miss for them as well. I think if Martinelli was playing, it would be he just adds another dimension to Arsenal. Martinelli, I rate him highly, very good player. And without him, like I'm sure we'll get to individuals later, but Saka didn't have a kick, and Saka should have had 2 yellows in my eyes because he got frustrated. He hacked out on Lodi. And I think twice he hacked on Lodi. He should have been yellow carded twice. He should have been gone.
I think the referee as well.
Yeah, when we get to the ref as well, I think he protected him.
Don't get me started the referee. Don't get me started the referee.
We were just breathing on him when they were going over. It was pathetic. But yeah, super proud. I'm so happy for Taiwo as well. I go back, Ben, what I was saying. If Taiwo hadn't got injured, we would have been mid-table.
Yeah, 100%. Last but not least, Taiwo Asprey. I saw Dave after the game. I've ran to him, gave him a hug. And I'm not a huggy person. I was hugging everyone yesterday. But Dave, how are you feeling?
Well, I, like the lads have touched on, you know, everything the two lads have described, Ben, sums up me. But my overriding sensation is relaxation. We're not Everton. We're not Leeds. We can go and play. And Forest can go to Palace next week on the pitch and play. We can have a bit of a party in the stands because for the first time in a long time, Forest can play a game in a relaxed fashion with nothing riding on it. And it's been a long time since we've been able to say that. And so as well as being relieved, because now they're showing relegation pictures without the name Nottingham Forest in it. You know, I think that's a great feeling for all of us because that, you know, we've been in the bottom three of something like 115, between 115 and 120 days, you know, a lot of time in the bottom three. We're now out of it. And it's mission accomplished. We all, you know, we all sort of had our views as to where we wanted to finish in the table, or where we thought we finished in the table. But really, the bottom line is every single one of us, you know, us four and all the people watching and the thousands who, you know, especially the thousand, I tell you what, and Dylan is absolutely right. That atmosphere in that stadium yesterday was the best anywhere in the Premier League this year. We're guaranteed to finish 16th at least. We might end up 15th. If Everton beat Bournemouth and we beat Palace, we'll be 15th, which is fantastic. But our supporters are the best by a mile in this division. Nobody can touch us. Arsenal, who are the second best team in the league, their supporters were drowned out. We've been to lots of big stadiums. Chelsea last week was abysmal. Tottenham, abysmal. And I think we've got the best supporters in the league. And I'll tell you what, another reason why we've got the best supporters in the league. They've not turned on this team, and they've stuck around in grounds even when they've been thumped. And apart from a few pockets of people who might have to take a look at themselves now, nobody's turned on the manager. So proud of the supporters. But the thing is, we've come through a bit of a baptism of fire, really, because this was always going to be a very difficult season. 2 months to prepare, it's not long. 30 signings. Who gives us stuff? Because Nottingham Forest are staying up. And
Clever, really clever.
Okay, honestly, it's like I've got my own backing band of dancers here. I'm like Beyonce, Asprey, never mind Taiwo. You know what I mean? So the way I look at it, is, lads, it's just, I'm just super proud of our manager. He's had the hardest job in football, I think. And from certain quarters, he's had some pelters and all this kind of stuff. Substitution, right, this and that. Hindsight and posterity are crushing those people now, and hopefully they've seen the error of their ways. So that's good. I'm super proud of Steve, super proud of our lads, because they play like a family. They're a group of humble young men, and they work hard, and they formed a really close thing. Check out the scenes of celebration in the dressing room. That everybody's involved. Julian Bianconi's been injured for ages. He's in there. Dean Henderson's on crutches. He's in there. Dean isn't actually a Forest player.
You see the crutches going like that?
Yeah. You've got Moussinier Carty's in there. We've got leaders Serge, Felipe, Renan Lodi in tears on the pitch at the end. The lads have been amazing. The supporters, I'm really proud of them. This city as well has been fantastic. I mean, what a couple of weeks of this city, what with us and the lot across the river, they've done well, So it's a sense of pride, and it's a sense of we've got ourselves into a position now where we are battle hardened after a year. We've had that experience of being in this division and knowing now exactly the gulfing ability between what's required in the Championship and what's required in this division. And my hope now is that where we've got ourselves to, we can build and evolve from it in the way that Brighton did and are doing, that Brentford did and are doing, and especially the team I think about the most, because they were the nearest I can think of to us, Aston Villa.
Yeah.
But then Aston Villa survived on the last day. We've got a game to spare, and there've been there was a very lovely ex-Forest player came on with us on Monday, and a wonderful guy, and the big man said, "You'll stay up, but you'll do it on the last day." Yeah. So he was half right, but we were earlier.
He's talking about Kevin Campbell, people, if you don't know who he's talking about.
And I'll tell you something, lads.
That's Kevin.
It was a brilliant performance in a way, because like Dylan said, like Steve has said, we played on the break. We waited, and when our chance came, and Arsenal's best player gave the ball to Morgan, and he set Taiwo up, we took our chance. And I felt, and it's the first time I felt like that for a long time with Forest being in front. I kind of thought, they're not going to do this. And what Forest did, and they showed it on Match of the Day last night, and at last Match of the Day gave us big ups. They showed the line of 5 at the back, the line of 3 in the middle, and the 2 up front, and how the lines stayed close together. And wherever Arsenal went across the pitch, and they had lots of possession, Jorginho, he must have had the ball more than anybody. Odegaard, wherever they went, they either looked for Bukayo, or they looked for Kieran Tierney, or they looked for what he was doing, playing Partey at right back and Kiwior at left back. Only Mikel Arteta knows. But do we care? No, that's Arsenal. We're Forest, right? But wherever Arsenal felt there was a gap, Forest closed it off. And as a defensive performance, it was brilliant. And it got the reward, because what Forest have done and what Steve has done, they've had to play in a way that they don't really want to play. They want to play flowing, attractive, buccaneering football. But they knew if they did that, they get hammered. And they've done the job, and they've given us a platform now upon which to build next season. And, we are going to need to strengthen, but we won't be signing 30 in a chaotic sense. I'd like to think now, it'd be Ross Wilson, I guess, and his team behind the scenes. We can add people in the right areas. And it's just a fantastic feeling because I love this club so much. And what they've done in the last, from the bottom of the Championship to this, is actually astonishing, and everybody should be proud,
100%. Before I'm just going through the comments. Before that's a fantastic speech from Dave as well. Dylan and Steve do a speech, but Dave, that was a speech and a half. We're going through the
about these tablets.
my guy Curtis Shaw, who was on my preview show. Everyone knows who Curtis is. Hi everyone, congratulations to Forest. You deserve to be us. Looks like we're giving up. Big summer needed for you. So settle team next season. Cooper and how manager of the season? Yes.
Why not?
There's something right, and people in the comments right, and I'm going to go in. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just being honest. There's 182 people here. Did you want Steve? Who wanted? Be honest with me. I'm not going to go in on you because it's people's opinion. Who wanted Steve Cooper out? Because everyone's in the panel. I'll speak to the panel about it. Who wanted Steve Cooper out? I'm be honest, because I'll have my bit about it. But in the panel, in the comments, did you want Steve Cooper out? Yes or no, and why? Dylan, how do you feel about Steve Cooper the whole season? I know we've got one game to go, but we'll talk about that next week. How do you feel about Steve Cooper as a Forest fan?
Right,
The pressure that he's had. The pressure he's had.
Yeah. I'm going to be brutally honest. Yeah. So if I get whatever stick I get for it, I'm not bothered. Right. Come the Leicester game, we lose 4-0. Yeah. I seriously turned around and said, "That's it." Do you know what I mean? Because we basically, I looked at it through.
Everyone did it. Everyone thought the same.
Right. This is what I was thinking. Right.
Yeah.
4-0 at Leicester. He looked broken. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? I'm not much. I love Cooper. Anything right at the time, he looked broken. He looked clueless at the time because he's new to the league. We all looked at, but we're there. We're in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? So at the time, it was like you got to make a change. You got to do something. We've got to do something. And I was on that bandwagon to say I think it is time. He's had a chance. He's new to the league. Can we afford to gamble our Premiership status? So, do you know what I mean? So early on, we need to kick on. Obviously, the owner made the decision. No, we're sticking with him. We give him a new 5-year contract. We do this with him. We do that with him. They sack a couple behind the scenes stuff because obviously we're not privy to what we know exactly. Kind of gather what's going on, but we're not privy to what's going on. So you start to think, okay, something's going. So, you know what I mean? If the owner's sticking with him and he's put his money where his mouth is, he's given him a massive contract. All right, fair enough. That's the way you go. Obviously, we gets to the World Cup. If I remember rightly, we beat Crystal Palace. Was it the last game before the World Cup?
Yeah. 1-0, yeah.
Everyone's happy. Then, I think the turning point was the break. That break, when we came back, we went on a massive run. Not winning everything, but we started to pick up results, if you remember. And we started getting higher up, you know what I mean, going up to like 16th, places like that. And we was playing well. So at the time then I was like, and then as soon as Cooper started coming out saying, we're going to be playing the type of football I don't really want to play, but we have to play. Do you know what I mean? He made the decision. I think not the best thing really, but where he played Taiwo on the left and it looked really good, then he gets injured. He comes back from injury and what does he do? He sticks him where a number 9 is supposed to be. And he plays the way he does. You know, some of the decisions I think against, like when we played Everton at home, his selection, you look at it and you're thinking, bloody hell, come on. Do you know what I mean? We've got to do these. We've got to be a bit more attacking. He knows it's his job. He knows more than me, stuff like that. Obviously, everything paid off. So, therefore, the Leicester game, when we lost 4-0, I think it's time. But I've had to eat my words, which I'm very, very happy to. I love the guy. I think he's brilliant. Do you know what I mean? He's honest as much as he can be, because obviously he's not going to tell you everything. But seeing him last night in his interview, and where he turned around and he said he wasn't going to admit it until now, but he basically said he had to get his head round the fact that being in 3 seasons worth of first team managing, he won tons of games. Now this was the time where he was going to lose more than he was going to win, and he had to get his head around it all. You know what I mean? And now it's proven to be the fact that we made the right decision. He changed the style of play. It's like what I says, the way we've played over the last month or so to get these points is the way probably we should have played from the start. Do you know what I mean? But obviously they don't want to play that way. And like Dave says, being on Match of the Day last night, helped with Jennings being on. He was smug as out, which he should be.
God, he's very smug.
You know what I mean? He was being smug, but yeah, do you know what I mean? Fair play. But where he's shown the pattern of the back 5, how the midfield worked, and all that, and it was just so nice to see. And I noticed that in the game. That not one of them. It was like they were all attached to a string. You know, like a foosball table.
Yeah,
it was like that. It was like they were all attached to one of them, and where one went, the others went, and it was just it was just so lovely to see. So yeah,
it was.
Anyway, getting off the subject a bit, but the Cooper thing after the Leicester game, probably like most of us, we all scratched our head and we was like, you know what I mean, what we're going to do? I think it's a time for a change because of the Premier League status. But I'll admit now, I was wrong. And but where people out there had the opinions a month ago, I think he should go. For me, maybe some of you won't agree, but for me, they deserve that right. Not everyone's going to like Cooper. Not everyone's going to like the way he plays. Not everyone. Do you know what I mean? There's other fans that we've got that want to see different style of football. Do you know what I mean? But when you look back on it now, to look on it and go how we played, it was it was just pure genius. Because he literally was at the start of the season. He started with a back 3. It didn't work. He switched to a back 4. And then when it comes to the crunch time, he switches it to a back 5. So for me, I'm eating my words, which I'm very, very thankful for. And I'll give him a round of applause and thank you. He's with our club and thank you for him for what he's done.
That's a great speech there. That's another great speech from Dylan. Another great speech.
Dylan is back. Ooh.
I have to compete with Dave, Anna. So do you know what I mean? He's a wordsmith.
You know, he's more like he's better than Bob Dylan. He is. I'll tell you, mate.
Steve, can you beat Dave and Dylan with that speech?
No, I can't stop him.
He can. No. He can. He's Welsh. Go on, man.
No, can't top him.
Our manager's Welsh. You're Welsh.
Steve, what do you think of what's happened with Steve Cooper? The whole Stephen.
I've never wanted Cooper to go. He's the last manager I wanted to work out was Stuart Pearce, and it didn't work out. This guy, I wanted it to work out for him because there's something about Cooper. You know, he got us up for what he did last year. The memories of that playoff, I'll never forget that day out. The Leicester game, I actually didn't want him to go. I felt sorry for him because I think that game, it was more the fact that he looked, like Dylan said, he looked like a broken man. He looked like someone had just dumped him on the touchline and said, right, put these 11 players on the pitch and do something with them. And he just stood there like, I got no answer for this. And then we had the Villa game. He had the contract, which probably gave him a bit of a boost. He probably told the boys in the dressing room, look, lads, play for. And then the Villa game, the Liverpool game was not long after. And then the World Cup, like Dylan said, was a big turning point for us. We came back. The only time I not so much questioned him, but I was a bit annoyed was the way. And
his Wi-Fi's not working again.
Just when he's doing his speech.
He's bad doing his speech as well. Steve, are you there? He's there. Carry on, Steve. You're back. You're back.
Yeah.
You're back. You're back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carry on. Carry on.
Well, which part did I get up to before I went off? I've never questioned.
Where you got annoyed? Something annoyed you.
Wait,
Right.
Yeah,
I got
about
annoyed.
Steve.
I got annoyed with West Ham away. West Ham away 4-0. There's no way we should have lost that 4-0. And the Spurs away game. The Spurs away game, that was probably the most depressing game I've seen all season because Spurs are so bad, and we just let them, we made him look good. That's the only time I not so much question Cooper, but I thought if we get rid of him now, who's going to come in? Poch, Guardiola, Klopp. Are we going to get this caliber of manager? And at the time, I thought, stick with him. You might as well stick with him now. And I've never ever, even the Leicester game, like I go back to saying, I've never questioned him. I want it to work out. I'm so happy for him as well because you can see, you get managers who come and go, but this guy generally loves the club. He loves the players. He loves the fans. He's embraced it. And what I respect of Cooper, and he's not even Nottingham man. He's a Welshman like me. He embraced the whole, like I have. I love the city of Nottingham as well. There's something about that city I love as well. There's something about that city. Just when you go there, it's just something. There's vibes. Yeah, I'd move there tomorrow. I would love to move there.
It's because we're here. That's why.
Yeah, but he said right in the beginning it was something about the club and the city that he just embraced, and that for me was just. I know managers can say it off the cuff, and we've heard it all before, but this guy meant it. That's the difference. And one day, he will leave, and I hope he does go on to maybe manage a big top club. He may one day, but I'm hopefully he'll be with us. But one day he will leave. That's just the way football goes. And he even said in his interview, it will come a day where he will move on. He said that in so many words. But at this moment of time, get behind this guy. And if we get another 3 to 5 years out of him, who knows where we can go? I personally think we're going to win a cup soon. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
because we haven't been a cup side for so long. We are due a cup, and he's getting us that close. We've been at semis, quarterfinals. We are. I think we're going to go to a cup final soon.
I hope.
Watch this space. Clip it, Ben. Clip it.
I won't clip it. I'll clip it.
Can I just say something? We don't play in the Johnston's Paint Trophy, do we? That's
no, we don't play that.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I'm thinking League One.
Yeah. That's a bit not. That's a bit naughty.
Some of the ramble I've heard online today or seen a few weeks ago. Everyone's eating the words now.
Yeah. There's 191 people in. Thank you, everyone, for taking part. If you can do a massive favor for me, please do hit the like button, please. And as well, if you want to donate towards the channel, please do. And as well, I don't know if you saw my vlog. At the end of it, as you know, I'm going to Crystal Palace. I said if I get to 12k by the end of Wednesday, I will dress up as Robin Hood, and that's a fact. I will just as a fact.
What more reason do you need?
Mate, what at the game on Sunday?
At the game, I'll be dressed up as Robin Hood.
I haven't got a ticket, but I think I'll drive down just to see that.
Ben, I can up that. You should go as Maid Marian.
if I get to 13k, I'll dress as Maid Marian. But if I get
doing a bit of cosplay, have you, Steve, or something?
if I get to 12k,
Ben's legs.
If you do want to see me dressed up, Crystal Palace way party time. Me and Dave will be going. We can just chill and have fun. So if you do want me to dress as Robin Hood, please go to 12k. Please do. Dave, we heard Mr. Marinakis. He spoke about he was basically in my language. He was close to sacking him. And people comments. What do you think about Mr. Marinakis' comments after the game? I think it was Match of the Day or what it was. Sky Sports. Dave, what's your opinion on what Mr. Marinakis says?
I think he seemed quite pleased with himself actually, because he stuck rather than twisted, and to kind of follow on from the theme of the lads. My view is I was rock solid behind Steve Cooper right from the get-go. totally 100%, 1 billion% behind him. And the more certain areas of the fan base went against him, the more I became behind him, because you know, my view stretched back however many years to like the cavalcade of really failures that we've had until this point. And I thought, this is the best we've had in 23 years. He gets the city, he gets the club. He's a brilliant social animal. Watch his interview with Moussa Niakhaté after the game yesterday. Watch the genuine affection that Moussa Niakhaté has for Steve Cooper. John Joe Shelby hugged him on the field. What he's done is remarkable. You've got 2 months from May the 29th to the start of August to get your team ready. And here, we'll chuck you all these players, a lot of them you've never met before, form them into a unit, right? And the big feeling I've got at the moment, and this club should have, and I reckon Mr. Marinakis has got, is vindication. Everton, 2 managers. Where's that got them? Leeds, 3 managers. Leicester City, 2 managers. Southampton, 3 managers. Nottingham Forest, just the one guy, right? And I love Steve Cooper. Everything about Steve Cooper. He never sets us up for a fall. He never says anything beyond the pale. He never gives an opposition that, oh, Steve Cooper said. Nobody can ever pin up anything that Steve says on their dressing room wall to come against us. He's brilliant to put a psychological defensive wall around Forest. Nobody can get at him, right? Those lads in there love him to pieces. I reckon those lads, like all of us do, they have good days and bad days in mental health and mental well-being. And I bet, Gaffer, can I have a word? Yeah, come on, let's have a natter. He's kind of like a big brother to them all. He's not an overbearing martinet, right? He's not a dictator. He's not my way or the highway. I think he's collaborative. I just think he's so intelligent and he's empathic. And I there's so much. When I look at myself, there are things that I like to think I like about myself. And I kind of see things in Steve Cooper that I think, yeah, I'd like to be like that myself. And I just think he's, you know, I just think he's fantastic. I did think he was gone at a couple of points in the season. I thought he was gone after Leicester. But, and this is why our fan base should take so much credit. I don't think a fan base, maybe with the exception of Everton at the end of last season, but I don't think a fan base, supporters like us four, and however many are watching now, and however many go to the games at home and away, no fan base has done more to keep its football club in this incredibly difficult division than Nottingham Forest fans have this year. I actually think that it's the greatest fan base this Premier League has ever seen, because the noise yesterday, the ferocity you get from the stands in the City Ground, and the way that the away contingents have dominated other stadiums. Stamford Bridge last week was like a home game for Forest. It's astonishing. So every single person that's bought a ticket, been to a match, sung their hearts out, has won points for the lads as well as the boys doing it on the field. It's been it's a family. It's a huge family. And sometimes a family will beat a more talented team because the family is closer knit. And that's why we're going to be like safe in this division next year to build on it, right? And I tell you what, I was watching all the celebrations on the pitch yesterday, and nobody ran on the pitch, which was great.
That was great.
Nobody intruded upon the team having their moment and Steve having his moment. Do you imagine if there'd been people running on the pitch and Steve's trying to do fist bumps? What an embarrassment that would be. So Steve, he went to the Bridgeford end. He went to A Block. He went to the Brian Clough stand. He came to us in the Trent end. He went to the Peter Taylor stand. He had his moment with every single one of us. And it was just astonishing. And then I looked on the field, and Harry Toffolo's two little poppets, tiny little kids, were kicking a football in the goal mouth. And then Jack Colback's little ones came over, and Wayne Ennis's kids. And it was like a family party, and we were all in on it. And that is incredibly powerful when you harness that. And I go back to Leicester that night at the King Power. Forest were unlucky that night in that Taiwo hit the post. If Taiwo had scored, then Leicester would have turned on their own team. But Taiwo didn't score, and Leicester got a second win, and we lost 4-0, and Leicester deserved it. And the 3,000 in the King Power stuck up for their man, and they got him his job, because Mr. Marinakis, however powerful a human being is, however much money he's got, how many millions in the bank, he couldn't ignore how much our club meant to us as people, right?
Yeah.
And then the same happened at Leeds. Leeds away, that 2-1 was a painful defeat. And Steve gave like a little plaintive wave as he went off the field. And I thought that night, oh my goodness, this guy I've got so much admiration for, he's gone. Because the trouble is, however much I admire him, I don't have a say in the club's running. Mr. Marinakis does. It's his prerogative. Like Steve says, he'll be gone at some point. It might come maybe next season or whatever, when Mr. Marinakis said, no, enough's enough now. And we can't do anything about it. But I thought after Leeds, he was done for. And then he got another of these dreaded votes of confidence. And then Liverpool, I think, the most important game since Christmas, I think, was Liverpool away. Because we all went, I certainly did. I went into Liverpool thinking, we're in for a good hiding here. I think Ben did his predictions pre-match, and I don't think one Forest fan had Forest to win at Anfield. No. And we came out of Anfield. We had indeed lost, but the way we played and the fight we showed and the character we showed, you know, I mean, that day all the Liverpool fans applauded the Forest fans because we unfurled a banner. We showed solidarity with like supporters. We earned respect by the way we behaved, and our team earned respect on the field because they were a goal down, 1-1, 2-1 down, 2-2, 3-2 down. Brennan hits the bar. Taiwo has an overhead kick just over the bar, and we all came out of Liverpool. And I think it was a turning point because everybody kind of thought, "Oh, actually, the way Forest played today, they're capable." The next game, beat Brighton. Then we had Brentford, where for 80 minutes we were excellent, and we had a really poor last 10 minutes where I actually think Steve didn't get it right in that last 10 minutes of Brentford. But hey ho, that's hindsight. Then that epic against Southampton, which will live in the memory. And then the draw at Chelsea, now we're into it, and now we're safe, right? But I just think it's total vindication for having faith in somebody, having patience with somebody, and showing loyalty to somebody. Because in this day and age, and certainly in football, what Mr. Marinakis has done, he's booked the trend. He's booked his own trend. Olympiacos seem to have a manager every 4 weeks.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, listen, let's compare Nottingham Forest, right, who've kept their manager.
Dave, don't forget what we've got our show, Dave. Don't forget.
Yeah, but I'm on a roll now because we're safe. And I want everybody watching this show to know we're safe and to love that feeling.
There's a shout when I come home.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So let's compare us, who've kept our manager is going to be the first one for a long, long time to do a complete season at the City Ground, right? And he's earned it and he deserves it because he's a good human being. Let's check out Watford. Where are they? Changing their manager every 5 minutes.
Wow, don't mention them, Dave. It's every week.
I am Ben, I'm in charge, and I'm saying Watford. So when people moan about Cooper, let's look at other clubs. And the thing is, the feeling I had yesterday was that I'd just love to have shaken his hand and said, you know what, Steve, you've done an amazing job. And I tell you what he did afterwards. He didn't talk about that. He said, right, I'm looking for us to improve again. He's already thinking forward. The guy is just, I think he's superb, honestly. And I'm so pleased for him. And I'm lucky because I said it all along. And I'm sitting here. And I was right. He kept us up. He might, you know, in a year's time, it might be different. He might be gone. But the job was, he kept us up, which was the job all along, 17th or better, and he gave us a semi-final. And I think posterity will say that's a really, really good season for Nottingham Forest. And I just hope there's many more of him for him and us. So I couldn't be happier. And it's just, all these feelings have been building up. I've been a coiled spring, I have, right?
A coil what? A coil spring?
A coiled spring. It's kind of like, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to say we're staying up and then go and not stay up. I don't want to say I want Cooper in and then for him to go. But he's in, we're safe, and I can say it now. And it's just a brilliant feeling. And I tell you what, we support a great football club. I don't care what anybody says.
Good job, Dave. That's why people love Dave. Dave just he can talk and talk and talk, but we love Dave.
I'm sorry I got carried away, but that's how I feel. I just love this stuff.
Yeah, that's why. wrong way, Dave. Wrong way.
Hey, we'll be clapping this one soon.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's back next season. There's 236 people in. Wow, that's mad. That is absolutely crazy. If you can do a massive favor, please do hit the like button and subscribe, please. But we're going to talk about individual players. And let me ask you, Dylan. For me, I'm going to say this earlier. I always mention at the end of the show who's man of the match, but this guy has been actually. I see it on the other show last week against Chelsea. But yesterday we talked about Felipe, we talked about Nicarte, but we're going to talk about one of our own because he's been given absolutely pelters, left, right, and centre. Yes, we have lost games, and sometimes he's questionable about his performance. Yeah. But we'll talk about Joe Worrell because yesterday for me is one of his best games in the Forest shirt against a team that has been top of the league for the whole season. They can talk about, yes, they got nothing to play for, blah, blah, blah. But when you're playing against a front three, I know they don't have Martelli in the team. But Dylan, people in the comments as well. What do you think about Joe Worrell? Do you think he's good enough for Premier League? Yes or no? Or do you think he's been fairly criticised, or do you think it's been over the top criticism? Dylan, how do you think about Joe?
Well, first and foremost, he's one of our own. He's come up through our academy. He's gone from the. He's played in the Scottish Premiership. He's played lower down. He's played in the Championship. He's stepped up now to the best league of the world. You know what I mean? So yes, he's our captain, and I think some moments of criticism was justified, not harsh. I can remember the one where we played Manchester United at home. I think that was in the cup where when you had Rashford run at him, and he turns his back on him. Do you know what I mean? And you question that, you're thinking, do you know what I mean? But he's like Ryan Yates. He's like Brennan Johnson. They're all playing in the Premier League for the first time. Yeah, and you're not coming up against Championship players. No disrespect to Championship players, because all
double players.
Well,
sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean to say that.
But what I'm trying to say is he's coming up against elite. Now,
Raheem Sterling last week at Chelsea, Dylan. That block at Chelsea last week was astonishing, mate.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to, is, beginning of the season, he was a bit like a deer in the headlights. He was a bit like, whoa. Do you know what I mean? Whoa, what's going off here? Do you know what I mean? Whoa, and you can the speed of the play, the speed of how these players play, the passing. Do you know what I mean? It's totally different. That's why it's the best league in the world. So people. I think if people were harsh when they were critical of him, it was a bit harsh. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got to look back and think where he's come from, where he's been. Now, if you'd have bought him from another Premier League team and he'd been playing in there for 3 or 4 years in the Premier League, then Do you know what I mean? But it's his first year. He's captaining the club. He's carrying that badge because we know exactly what what Joe Worrell thinks of the club and everything. At one stage, Cooper took him out, and if I remember rightly, we had Bolly and McKenna playing together, and then people like that. And I think it might have done him some good. I don't know if anyone's seen it because sometimes I sit in the Peter Taylor stand, and where I sat, and when I noticed when he wasn't playing and when he was out, stretching and that, he would stand where the back was. So if we was attacking the Bridgeford end, he would be standing there and he would be shouting. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And then the opposite way, if we were coming the opposite way, he was looking and things like that. And I think him being dropped for a few games may have made it. Probably that was Cooper just putting his arm around him and saying, look, just take your time, settle down, let's get you refreshed. Do you know what I mean? And obviously Philippe came in. Philippe's been absolutely awesome. I mean, Bolly gets injured, McKenna gets injured. He comes in, he plays well, he makes a couple of mistakes. But I think when Cooper switched it to a back five, since Liverpool, basically, and then he was bringing him on and things like that. I think that's when now he knew this is where I'm a Nottingham born and bred. This is my team. I have to show these other players like Philippe, like Lodi, like Aurea. Yeah, they love the club, but I need to show these players what it means to play for this club. And I think over the last few games, he stepped right up. Like you say, that block against Raheem Sterling. That was him learning. That's probably him learning. He's probably learning off Philippe. You know what I mean? He is learning. Do you know what I mean? Philippe comes in, and we know what Philippe can do and where he's played and what he's done. Do you know what I mean? So there's nothing wrong. He's probably stepped back and thought, I'm going to watch this man, see what he does. Do you know what I mean? Because no one can stop learning. Do you know what I mean? And you can see it straight away. So the more you give him, the more time you give him, and probably if you're going to play him, but you surround him with decent players to play against. Like I can remember back when was it Michael Dawson was playing when he first come through the rank. Didn't he play with Des
Walker? Yeah, Des Walker. Yeah,
he learned his craft from Des Walker, being at the age Des Walker was, but that set him on to have the career he had. Do you know what I mean? So therefore, I think, the last few games, he's like a phoenix risen from the ashes, and he's basically done the job, and I can't fault him now.
100%. We're going through the super chat. I got a super chat from this is my space. Thank you for the £4.49. Much appreciated for that. Hi guys. Big Joe has learned the hard way how to become a Premier player. Absolutely legend, and he has. And like I said, but just feel like I said, it's criticize his performance, but just don't. I think with some people's opinion about Joe, like I said, it's all right to have an opinion, and that's fine. But I think with him being the first time, I saw a comment. I think it was from Craig. This one, Craig Cook, our mate Dylan Craig. Imagine the pressure, captain of your team.
Great point.
And the first time in the Premier for all these years, Craig. That's a fantastic point. And that's a fantastic point, Craig. Imagine it, being captain, playing against fantastic players, world-class players as well, and getting abuse from him. And like I said, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and that's cool. But it's just next level.
There's criticism because you can be because everyone who goes down to that game is entitled to criticize someone.
Yeah, they are.
Everyone doesn't have the same opinion, but it's how you do it. Do you know what I mean?
There's 231 people in. If you do a massive favor, please do hit the like button. Bloody hell, nearly got our show done. Another player that we're going to talk about.
Carry on.
Carry on.
I'm here all night, mate.
Another player. I think Steve touched on it. Taiwo Awoniyi again scores his fifth goal in 3 games. Steve, we've got to keep him next season. I know, like I said, he's had his injuries, but he's come back and he took his goal yesterday well, didn't he?
Yeah, a few pundits and a few people mentioned it was a little bit of a fluke because it came off the centre back. I forgot what centre back it was.
Gabriel went to clear it, and he cleared it onto Taiwo's shin, but Taiwo's persistence kept him there.
But if Haaland had scored that, nothing would be said. So you know what I mean.
It went in the back of the net, didn't it? And he got 3 points at times.
Yeah. So he was there to score it. Gibbs White done the hard work, and Taiwo's looking sharp, and since he's come back from injury. And next year, I think what Cooper's learned since he's come back is the way we're going to play next year. And Taiwo's going to be vocal point up front. We may go up and sign another striker. I know we've got Chris Wood in the background, and who knows where that's going to go. Because again, when we signed him, I came with huge criticism, and then he got injured. So maybe a pre-season with him if he gets sharp. Who are we to judge yet? But coming back to Taiwo, we're playing into his strengths. He's just, I've mentioned on this show many times, he's just a bully, and he just centre halves hate playing against him. He's a massive unit. I thought he was harshly booked yesterday for elbowing.
Yeah.
He wasn't even an elbow. It was a straight arm. A straight arm. Like it was come back to the ref. Like he booked Niakate as well for time wasted. It was just head scratching, and I was worried when Taiwo got yellow carded because it was quite early in the game. And I thought if he's going to try and rough them up now, he's got to be careful because one slight lean again and he's going to go. So he did quite well to hang back because Arsenal were being protected by that ref yesterday.
God, don't mention the ref to me otherwise.
Yeah. But I think if we can keep him fit next year, I think he can score 12 to 15 goals next year because I think he's on 10 now, isn't he? 9 on 10?
9. Yeah. He's on 9. He's on 9. Yeah.
So I think he can hit 12 to 15 next year. I think if we can keep him fit, we got to keep him fit because I think there's a few injuries in him. I don't know if you boys agree, but I think he strikes me as someone who's could be a little bit injury prone.
To me, it looks like when he runs, sometimes it looks like he's running through treacle.
Yeah, he's like I said before, he reminds me of like the Antonio of old. He kind of like over his own feet sometimes. He can't get full control of the ball. He lets the ball run behind him and things like that. So, but yeah, Taiwo's just been in for an animal since injury. And his goals, Martin Price have said it. He's worth £100 million now.
Yeah. I've got a super chat, and this is from Chris, the absolutely legend. Thank you for the $20. And this from America, Chris, a legend. He always watches this show, so much appreciate for that.
Oh, sorry, Ben. Sorry.
Chris. Thank you for the $20. Steve, carry on.
I just want to say something quick what's on my mind, just about Worrell, and I go back to what I said about the Chelsea game. Just one quick point about Worrell. If he had done some key bad decisions like other defenders have this season, he would have been absolutely smashed. Like, go back to that Chelsea game, and I mentioned it last week. The Sterling second goal, Felipe dived in, right, and soaked him, dummied him. If Worrell had done that, Worrell would have been absolutely slammed.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, and this is why.
And it is true. That is the truth.
It's true, and I mentioned, I think it was a couple of shows ago, like Felipe, a fantastic defender for Atletico.
Don't get me wrong, brilliant player. But unfortunately, he did do a mistake with that goal. But if Worrell had done that, Worrell would have been just absolutely slated.
100%. There's 239 people in. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for everyone that has took the part to listen to our happy chat today. I feel happy because it's not like because we won against a team that was second in the league and that were almost to win the Premier League. Like we drawn Man City, who won the league, and we beat a team that almost won the league. So it helps. Put it out. We'll have another extra 10 minutes before we do go. People in the comments, who was your man of matches today? And I think there's quite a lot as well. So many good performances as well. Let's start with you, Dylan. Who was your man of match and the reason why? Name two. Give us two. Give us two. People in the comments as well.
I ain't giving you one. I ain't giving you two. I ain't giving you three. I'm giving you 11. I'm giving you 11.
Okay, 11. Okay.
I'm giving you the whole team. I'm not giving just one person.
Yeah, go on then.
Whole team. The whole team battled. And I mean battled. So I'm not giving it down to an individual.
Yeah.
So I think the whole team deserve the man of the match status. So if one person gets a trophy, he needs to chop it up into 11 pieces or how many pieces it was when subs come on and stuff. Everybody that came on that pitch for them 98 minutes need a piece of that pie because for me, the whole team came together. They, like I said earlier, on Match of the Day, when they shown you all the movement of the team, to me, that's a team that believes. That's a team that wants to win together to get a result. Do you know what I mean? So for me, my man of the match was the whole team.
Steve?
Got to agree with that. But if there's one player stuck out for me, it was Gibbs White.
Yeah,
Gibbs White. He was phenomenal yesterday. Arsenal every time he had the ball, Arsenal were just worried. Like I even you boys are at the ground, but Carragher even marked out with
Yeah.
I just used a wrestling term. Then marked out means he kind of that was a wrestling term. He
Jim breaks.
Gibbs White done a little Gibbs White done a little like twirl, and he ran after the ball again, got it back, and he had a shot. He got that shot away. Carragher loved that, and yeah, it was just Gibbs White was a part of CSA unplayable in my eyes anyway. Taiwo as well, Lodi brilliant. Like Dylan said, each one of them were absolutely stunning. But Gibbs White yesterday just, and also when he after he had that shot, do you see when he sprinted across and he charged down Gabriel, I think, and he absolutely summed it up.
Your facial expression, Steve.
Sums it up. He's
in front of A block.
Yeah, he's just loved by the Forest fans, haven't he? And he just loves us. So he's. I'm just hoping that, you know, because it was Cooper's. He is Cooper's signing. He is Cooper's boy. Cooper's taken him everywhere he's been. So, you know, he's been an outstanding signing this year, Gibbs White, and he's worth every penny. And that's another thing we're glad he's worth every penny we paid for him. And if we have to pay Wolves another £5 million, they can have it. They keep the change as well.
100%. Before I go to Dave, I've got a Leicester fan, Lee Chapo. Everyone knows who he is. A little bit. He could be going down. So congratulations, lads. Very tough to do first season back. Cracking vlog door. Hope you can stay up in the line, but it is looking very doubtful. If you lose tomorrow, you're down. You're down. But Lee, no offense. This is a stream because we're relaxed. We're happy. We're not going. We're the Premier League. So
give him credit. Give him credit for coming on and saying something.
No. I don't want to give you Lee Chapman because he's gave me stick so much times. Lee knows private joke. He gives me joke all the time. But shout out to Lee though, to be fair. But I hope you do go down. Same with Leeds. But shout out to Joe. Joe, don't bully me this time, Joe. Don't bully me this time. I love Joe to bits, but
I do.
That was coming. Dave, talk about that before we go. Who was you happy with yesterday?
The entire red half of Nottingham, and all the people around the world who wear the Garibaldi, every single one of them, because that was a collective effort to stay in this division. Was a collective effort. So the man of the match was the owner for sticking with our manager and not doing what is expected. Like, you know, because like so much of modern life is short-termism and a guy made a mistake, so he has to be. His life's defined by that mistake. Everybody makes a mistake. My mum and dad made a mistake. That's why I'm here. So I mean, so like you know. I've run football teams, right? I've run football teams myself, and people don't mean to miss a goal. They don't mean to get sent off. They don't mean to do a back pass. Nobody means on a football field to make a mistake. And the abusers and the people slugging people off walk a mile in another man's shoes. Have you not made a mistake? I've made loads of mistakes, right? So that to me, the man of the match is the owner for sticking with our brilliant manager, right? And the players, every one of them, there'll be players in there that have had lots of pelters, and the fans and the city. It's astonishing. I just was completely overwhelmed yesterday. I mean, Renan Loddy wept tears at the end. Joe Worrell wept tears at the end. That's how much it means to these lads. So if you're abusing any of these guys, right, I don't know if anybody's actually looked up the definition of the word support. Now, support is help, aid, assistance, comfort, guidance. It's not abuse on social media. It's not. And there's a great comment put in there before earlier where it said people saw it as a badge of honor. Yeah, I've slugged Joe Worrell off. Look how big I am. I've slugged Andre Ayew off. I've slugged Chris Wood off. I love these lads. When they put the Garibaldi red shirt on, I had a trial for this club and I wasn't good enough, so I know what it takes to be in that position. They are better human beings than me, better footballers than I am. And what they're doing is incredibly difficult. You know, they've had to go into... I think what has happened with this team, and I've loved listening to what Dylan said about Joe Worrell, and I've loved listening to what Steve said about Morgan and what we've all said about Taiwo, and you could say it about a lot of them. these lads have been on a learning experience. So Morgan is getting better. Taiwo is getting better. Joe is learning what it takes to be in this division, helped by Felipe and Moose. Renan Loddy had a slow start. Now he's become somebody who, like, I want him to sign him.
That Leicester game.
Yeah, he was awful. The poor lad was
shocking.
He was Serge Aurier. Why have we signed him? Now Serge is a leader in the dressing room, right?
Yeah.
Ryan Yates, will he be good enough? Yeah, he's good enough. Oral Mangala has had quiet periods, but he's been excellent these last few games, and nobody talks about Oral, right? And then you've got Danilo. He's had to. He can barely speak English. He's learning in a new country. How difficult is that? If I went to Brazil now and did the opposite to Dino, I'd really struggle there. And then you've got Taiwo. Brennan was on loan at Lincoln 2 or 3 years ago. Morgan was like, you know, he went to Swansea for a bit and all this kind of stuff, and he never really made it at the Wolves. And they've all been on a journey, right? And the team and the club have been on a journey. And what I do think is that in the last, since Liverpool, what I think has happened with this football club, and especially the team, is that it's settled. And I think for the first time in a long time, we pretty much know, I think we know our best 12. So the 11 that started yesterday, and Brennan. And the idea is you can have 5 at the back one way or 4 at the back and bring Brennan in. I think that's our best 12. And for us to even know our best 12 when we signed 30 is beyond belief. The only thing I would say is I wish that this coming together of this team and this settling down and this stabilising, I wished it had happened in February. I wished it had happened around the time that we drew with City and then we had that awful loss at West Ham, which was such a crushing blow. After the City game, I was really high after that because we held the best team in the world, basically. Well, they're soon to be the best team in the world. We scored the best goal against Manchester City that's been scored against them for years. We scored a Manchester City goal against Manchester City, right? Remember Bernardo Silva chasing Brennan like a little lost dog that's lost its master. Rodri falling over in the box because he daren't tackle Brennan. Chris Wood tapping into an empty net with Kyle Walker lunging. He couldn't get at him. I've watched Manchester City this afternoon, and Nottingham Forest did to them what they've been doing to Chelsea all afternoon. And I wish we'd done it then. As it is, better late than never, and we're safe. And I like to think now that this last month since Liverpool, where I think since Liverpool, we've become a genuine Premier League team rather than a newly promoted side seeking its way. And my fervent wish now is that we get Palace out of the way. I tell you, do you know what? Now we're safe. I can stick my neck out a little bit, which I wouldn't do before. But what's to say we don't go to Palace and win 3 or 4-1, get an away win to add to the one we've got at Southampton, and then what we do, we set ourselves up. We set ourselves up for a close season where we don't bring loads in. We prune out the bits. I mean, Jack's going, and let's say well done to Jack. He's been fantastic. Jack has. Absolutely great guy. You know, there'll be other really good guys going from this club as well, and we thank them. You know, Will Swan's gone. Wish him all the best. There's going to be some change, but the nucleus of a decent side for us to establish in the Premier League next season, I think, is in place. And I think, you know, we'll add a striker. I like to think we'll add a midfielder. I think we're not too bad at the back. You know, I mean, our goal difference has been bad, and we've all worried about it. But that was from the beginning of the season when we lost 6 and 5 and 4. I don't think we're going to lose 6 and 5 and 4. And since Liverpool, we've scored quite a few goals. You know, we've taken 10 points from 15. So
scoring goals, we're scoring goals.
Yeah, I mean, it's brilliant. I mean, the Southampton game. I mean, the Danilo goal in that. Morgan went to shoot and fainted and let the ball off to him. You know, there's so much that's coming together about Forest. It was always going to take time, and those who've been patient with the manager and with the team and not got anybody's backs, they're getting their rewards now, and we're going to finish 16th at least. Bournemouth get beat at Everton, and I think Everton will beat Bournemouth to stay up. I'm sorry for Joe, but Leeds were awful this afternoon, especially second half, and they are going, right? And I think Leicester will probably go tomorrow because Newcastle still needs something. Now, if Everton beat Bournemouth and we beat Palace, then we finish 15th, which is amazing.
Then not 14th or
no.
No, Chelsea and Palace and Wolves.
We'll go just above Bournemouth.
Okay,
yeah,
that's my bet.
The only ones we can catch. We can't catch West Ham because their goal difference is about 20 better than ours. But we can catch Bournemouth, and to finish 15th would be brilliant. But I just think we've set ourselves up now for a good, ordered, calm, close season where we look at our playing staff. You know, I personally, I think Jesse's going to go. I think, you know, there'll be others going. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, lots of those lads on loan, Ojeda and Aguilera, Larea, people like that, they're not going to come back. You know what I mean? Lyle would probably go. There'll be a clear out. But I think we've got something on which to build for next season. And what I would like is next season, having stayed up this year, is for us to kind of say, look at maybe 11th, 12th, and 13th and try and finish in that middle echelon to start with. But as far as I'm concerned, survival and a semi-final of a cup, that's a pretty good resume for this season, I think. And I couldn't be prouder, I couldn't be happier, and I could not be more relaxed and in love with Nottingham Forest Football Club than right now. It's just brilliant. You know, what a year! Hey, what a year we've had! It's almost a year. We've had a year. It's almost a year to the day since Wembley, and so we've bookended
next weekend.
Yeah, we bookended the year with Wembley, and yesterday, which I think yesterday was on a par with Wembley. I'd almost go so far as to say staying up in this league is even greater an achievement than getting into it. You know what I mean? So it's just brilliant. 100%. And everybody who supports Nottingham Forest has done a good job, honest.
100%. Great. Before we do,
hi Dylan.
Hi Dylan, the legend himself. The number one Dylan is on the stream. The number one Dylan is on the stream. I've got someone from Russia. Can anyone pronounce his name? Is it Adri?
No, I can't read Russian.
I can't read Russian. I wish good luck to the whole Nottingham family in next season. We'll be stronger from Russia with love. Peace and love, Russia.
Good James Bond film that was.
Yeah. Lovely. Well, thank you for everyone. People, the 255 people. I appreciate that everyone that has took the time to watch us talk about the team that we love, and we're staying in Premier League people.
Can I just say something else, Ben?
Yeah, before we go, go on then. Go on.
Right. Just on a couple of I think as much as we talk about Steve Cooper, players and that lot, and we've touched on it a bit, the owner.
Yeah.
We've had a bad owner, but this owner has literally stood in that market square and told us he was going to deliver. He was going to give us everything we wanted. Yeah. And he delivered. And everyone laughed at us. 30 players. Do you know what I mean? I can't wait till tomorrow. I said this earlier on our group chat. I can't wait till tomorrow to listen to Simon Jordan and Jim White, because I like what Simon Jordan says most of the time.
To be fair, I saw Simon Jordan has defended Forest more than the other TalkSport lot.
But I'll be like, I'd love to see what they're going to say about it tomorrow. I don't know who the other bloke was that said that Steve Cooper, you lot will know his name. Steve Cooper.
Alex Crook.
Tony Cascarino.
Yeah. One of them.
Don't get me started on Tony Cascarino, man. Don't get me started.
One of them.
Thing is, these guys are all entitled to their opinion, and what we've got to do is not be offended by it. You know, there's been people. We're all one fan base or whatever. People are going to have their views. We just keep going. Next game, we just keep going. And like, I've heard all of this stuff, and like Ben, it annoys me. And I know where you're coming from, Dylan, and I agree with you, mate.
But what I'm trying to say is, do you know what? As much as I want that Greek man has got another football club in his own land, but he's gathered everything to this club and gave us what we needed to get here now. Do you know what I mean? So I think his little interview on Sky yesterday was quality. You know what I mean? I heard Carragher going, I don't think he should have said stuff like that, or blah 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 blah, and this, he shouldn't have come out and pat himself on his back. I think he should. Do you know what I mean? Because he could have said, "Bye, Steve," and got something else there, but he didn't, and he stuck with it. And there was reasons behind it. I reckon, by the sound of his interview, he looked at it. There was no one better, so he stuck. You know what I mean? He didn't twist. He stuck. So, just on that note, I just wanted to say to Mr. Marinakis, and if his son's watching or anything, thank you.
Don't follow him. Don't follow him, Mr.
Agreed.
Right, before we do go, I got my friend, my number one Derby friend. That's what I'll call her. Mrs. Lisa Howard. Lisa's a legend. I miss Lisa. I miss being on the show. Do I miss the club? Not really. Coalition's really happy. Let Leeds and Leicester going down. The longer we don't play you lot, the better. Lisa, I miss you. I miss you a lot, Lisa.
I think Derby are more likely to play Notts County before they play us again.
Is that league? Going on league or not? Going on? Do you mean?
Can't going on.
The one, League 2 or League 1.
Shout out to Lisa. I miss you, Lisa. But I did say a little cheap shot on Derby because there's a few fans in my Instagram saying some few stuff. But
we could play.
Lisa,
we could play him. We could play him in the pre-season.
No, we could play him in the Johnson Plate Trophy. Our own 23s can play him. But yeah, maybe.
I'm just saying we could play him in the pre-season so they can class that as. Oh, look, we're playing a Premiership team.
Oh no, our under 18s will play him because we're Premier League and Derby are League One. So
what are we?
Tell you what though, the future's looking bright because I know our under 21s lost to Leeds last Monday night, but for them to get to that position is fantastic. And the young lads in this club to do that, I know they got beaten on the night and they were convincingly beaten, but to even get there is fantastic. You know what I mean? So this club in every area. I mean, the girls have been brilliant this year. They've won trophies and they were a bit unlucky at the weekend. It's just fantastic. You know, wearing this shirt and what it means, and it is a big old family. You know, but the thing is, like about Mr. Marinakis, he's going to be demanding. He won't want any of us to stand still and rest on laurels. And so, we're all. You know, there's the Steve outs and the Steve ins and all that's amazing. That's fantastic. And that diversity of opinion is brilliant. Yes. But really, when it comes to it, one man's opinion carries more weight than the however many thousands. So you just don't know. I mean, it's just right now. It's just a great moment for us, I think.
Can I just say one last moment as well?
Yes, that's moment.
Well. I've had a few people, support different clubs, neutrals and so on, message me and tell me that one thing that stuck out for them was our Forest looked like a team and unity and all these videos. And I'm sure other fans from other clubs have seen it on Instagram coming up on their feeds, whatever. These videos of the boys in the back in the dressing room all together.
Match day pass, Steve, is fantastic, mate. Everybody should watch that. It's wonderful.
The likes of Leicester, Leeds, and all that, they haven't got that unity. They just look beaten on the pitch.
True, mate.
I've just remembered something before we go. How bizarre would this be for Nottingham Forest to go down to play Luton in the Premier League?
Could happen.
Walking past someone's back garden? Walking back someone's back garden?
Don't matter. But how bizarre is that to say? We could potentially have an away day at Luton in the Premier League.
Luton, who were non-league a while back, Coventry, maybe, who were League Two. Somebody asked me about that game last week.
Dave, 1 minute. People comments. Who do you prefer, Luton or Coventry in the Premier League? Put in the comments now. There's 232 people in. Get comments in now. Go on, Dave.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a meeting of two fairy tales, Coventry City and Luton. Yes. You know, for them to even be in that position is amazing. From a playing style, I think Coventry have the more attractive playing style, you know, basing everything around Gyökeres and Gustavo Hamer. And they've got a really good team, I think, and they've got a terrific manager. But then Luton, they're quite rugged, Luton. They were like that against us last year, you know, when we lost there. And they're quite strong and powerful. I think Luton will win it, but I think it'll be a really tight game. So,
but you know what? What I'm trying. Sorry, Steve. Quick. Let me just get this quickly in. But for a club of Luton stature, they're a small club.
Yeah.
They're a small club. They're going to be but they're going to be a small fish in a big pond, and they'll deserve it if they get there. But for me, it'll be very interesting to watch, but how they cope, because obviously we had to get everything in place really quick, and we've got a big ground of that. It'll just be interesting to see how they cope with the pressure.
100%. Before we do the last one before Glenn, Glenn's coach more Premier ready, got feeling to go through. Shout out to Glenn as well, because he did have a a vlog for Nottingham Forest women. I know looking to the Forest ladies losing as well, but he did a vlog. So if you after the show, go and watch his vlog. He did a fantastic job for me. So shout out to Glenn for that.
And one big shout out as well, Ben. We have all of us as Forest fans on the panel here, people watching. We have to give our gratitude to one player yesterday for his contribution. Wayne Hennessy.
Yeah.
Come on.
Does he play for Wales by any chance?
He does, and it was a funny turn of events because if you remember in the playoffs last year, Horvath came on.
Yeah.
Goal kick.
Yeah.
That's a really weird kind of scenario. Isn't it? He came on last year to see the game out with one kick, and Hennessy came on yesterday to literally kick the ball long, and it was just
Well done,
Hennessy.
Well done, Hennessy.
Yeah.
Right, before we go, like I said, shout out to right. I've got top of the link. Before you do go, like I said, Amanda, who's watching, is giving away a Nottingham Forest top. It only costs £1. All the money goes to get a defibrillator to a local football team in Nottingham, or wherever Amanda does. So if you can, do a massive favor for me. Links to click on it. It's on the Facebook group. It costs £1. Tuesday, I've got a special guest on. He's been on the show before. So watch out for that show. I'm not gonna say who it is. I'll tell the panel.
It's not me. It's not me. I know that.
It's definitely not.
It's not me. You'll be glad to know. You've seen enough of me. I think people are getting day fatigue. Really, let's get someone else on instead of me.
Like I said, I've got a special guest. Because he's been on the show before, and that's what I'm gonna give you. I can't wait. He wants to come on my show. He keeps banging on about it. I need to come back on, Ben. So watch out for that. That bit starts at 9 o'clock as well. And I get 2 others as well. But watch out for the show. 9 o'clock. It's going to be an amazing show. I can't wait. I'm excited. But watch out for that. But yeah, before we go, like I said, we're back in the Premier. We're staying in the Premier League for another season. Like I said, people want to thank everyone, including the panel as well. We've got one more game to go, so I'm not going to reel out everyone's name. But
just want to say one thing as well, Ben, while I got you. This is probably the last time you'll see me this season. I just want to say, thank you to Mr. Dore. Do you know what I mean? I've known him forever. We've been at school together and that. Thank you for letting me come on here to ramble, talk nonsense. But thank you, and I love everything you do.
Thank you very much, Dylan. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I echo that as well, Ben. Thank you very much for having me on as well.
No worries. If it wasn't for you lot, if it wasn't for you boys, this won't have happen. But it's not for me. It's for you.
Dore, you've unleashed me on the world, so I don't think people are going to be that happy with you. You know what I mean?
This guy, he's on more than YouTube than me. More than YouTube than me. But
I'm sure I've got some Welsh followers. You know, loving me. Loving the
well, yeah, people,
Woolly one, Steve.
It's been a great show, people, and I appreciate everyone that does take the time to watch my show. Like I said, Tuesday I got a show. Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace on is it Sunday? Yeah, Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
We've got a preview show on a Thursday or Friday. Watch out for that. But like I said, people, you cannot miss the show on Tuesday. Cannot miss.
Dylan, come here.
Dylan, get Dylan on. People should
Hi, Dylan.
Hey! That's the real Dylan. That's the real Dylan.
Love that. Love that lad.
But yeah, but people, like I said, watch out for today's show. And before you do go, please leave the building. We'll hit the like. Please do hit the like button, and get me to 12k. Get me to 12k, and if I do get to 12k, I will dress up as Maid Marian. And I saw a comment as well. Have I got a tattoo yet? I am getting a tattoo. I just don't know where to get one.
In about 20 years' time.
I will get a tattoo. I will get a tattoo 100%. I just don't know when. I'm scared. That's more than
what of? Your initials?
Yeah, my initials.
I'm doing my own right now.
All right. I do appreciate everyone. Like I said, please do hit the like button before we leave. People, before we do go, we are staying in the Premier League. Peace and love. Up the Forest. Get it!